Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike. Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 21st of September 2025. I want to offer my prostrations, Ananta Koti Namaskara Dandvat Pranama to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every single being. We're continuing on a daily basis to examine so many different perspectives and ideas regarding Prema Bhakti and the Jivan Mukta state. Jivan Mukta state meaning liberated state, a moment-to-moment freedom, hour-to-hour, day-to-day, year-to-year state of complete intrapsychic and interpsychic freedom, where there is no disturbance of any kind amidst the varieties of experiences in life. Our life has so many different types of experiences, and today I want to examine and present the concept of Urmi, U-R-M-I. What is Urmi? Urmi is a wave. The word is actually wave. It can mean three things, wave, agitation, and modification. So that is the concept. Urmis are expressions of Maya in embodied existence. Let's be very clear. Is it true that we have multiple experiences in life? Yes, obviously. Vedantic masters from ancient times till today came up with this concept called Urmi. So Urmi is where there is this notion of a wave. Now, why the wave? Because when we are standing in front of the ocean, that is called tarang or wave. There's a beginning, middle, end, and then it's all part of the ocean only. So it's a type of modification. So they called it Urmi, and they identified 6 Urmis in the body, mind, soul framework, and how that is part of the bondage and cycle of the sansar. And then moksha is actually freedom from these Urmis, even though they do exist, but there is a very interesting type of freedom from these Urmis also. Now this is a bit of a intricate subject like so many others. We have to just go slow. Otherwise, it will get like, my God, it's too much to understand. It's not like that. Very slowly, very carefully. We can break it down. It'll be very straightforward for us. So there are 6 waves of existence. These are called Shadurmi, 6 Urmis. The first Urmi is hunger, and that is called Kshuddha, K-S-H-U-D-H-A. That is called Kshuddha, hunger. So biological necessity and dependency, we feel hungry, do we not? We have feeling of hunger. Yes, and there's dependency in that also. Then there is also the same concept of hunger, which is a symbol, or it is symbolic of all desires we have. All desires we have. That is symbolic of them. And then the third point is, how do enlightened beings, those who are wise, those who are knowledgeable, those who are gnani, those who are liberated, how do they approach the instinct of hunger, approaching nourishment? That is another question altogether. So that is, I'm just giving an outline here first, and then we'll go into it a bit further, maybe a couple of days. If you're interested in doing so, you can make questions, make comments about this, and see where it takes us. The second urmi is called thirst, or trishna. Thirst is physical craving. Thirst is wanting to, we need water, right? There's that one meaning. But trishna is a bigger concept than simply the thirst for water. It is a metaphor for craving, the deep wanting of that experience. That is called craving. And that is there in human condition of so many experiences. We want it badly. Something we want it badly. And then once it begins, nothing else matters at that point. That is part of what is called craving and desire. So desire as an unquenchable force, or it is temporarily quenched. The quenching of thirst, satisfaction of thirst is there. But desire is such that it comes back again and again and again and again, lifetime to lifetime. Within this lifetime, there are countless ichhas and desires. So this is called trishna. This is the second urmi. There are 6 of them. Isko trishna kehte hai. And then the third point in the second urmi is, what is the role of discipline or tapasya or regulated living, etc., in transcending this urmi? Is it possible to transcend the urmi? And what would that entail? I'm just giving an outline here so that then we can go further if you're interested in doing so. Third urmi is called shoka, or grief, which is the universal experience of loss and sorrow. Everyone experiences loss of all kinds in life. Not, of course, of family members, friends, and relatives, and that's one dimension. But there's sorrow also with that, as well as so many other experiences in life. Countless. You can make a list and there will be no end to that. This is called shoka, S-H-O-K, not shlok, but shok. It is the urmi, third urmi of grief. Very interesting, very important to understand. Grief is attachment to the impermanent. So another way to understand this, there's impermanence in life. So one feels grief, that things are, they are impermanent, but there's clinging to the impermanence, which causes grief. Right, so that is another aspect of the third urmi. So this notion of vairagya that we were looking at several times, and higher understanding, is a remedy to this urmi. It is a medicine to this urmi of grief. The fourth urmi is moha, or delusion. Mistaking the unreal for the real. This is called moha. This is a big one. And this is the root of bondage and ignorance. The word is avidya. So for those people who are taking notes on this, just 1 second, yes. Those people taking notes on this, terminology wise, this is called avidya. A-V-I-D-Y-A. Avidya is considered to be ignorance, which is actually part of moha. So moha means this mistaking the unreal or the temporary for that which is permanent, that which is real. Right, so this is one definition of moha. And how to go out of that? Vedanta says the power of jnana, J-N-A-N-A, jnana or jnana, awakens the bhakta, awakens the mukta into that state outside of moha. So this is the fourth urmi, and there's 2 more, but before we get to that, there's a question. So go ahead and ask your question. So yes, so the word moha, M-O-H-A, it is one of the translations in English is called delusion, D-E-L-U-S-I-O-N. Now, that's one possible translation for that. The word delusion in English means false belief. It's the word delusion is different from the word illusion. So please understand, see this terminology, we have to be very careful with this, with the language. Illusion means seeing something that it's a misapprehension. You're seeing the mirage that looks like water. It's an illusion. Mrugjal. That's an illusion. But delusion is mistaking the unreal for the real. So there's a similarity there, but it's a false belief. So for example, one of the delusions would be that that I am just going to live forever. I mean, I know that I'm not going to, but the instinct is that's going to happen. So it's a false belief. There's lots of examples. We're going to go into detail on this. I just want to bring the outline here. So the remedy for moha, the word is actually moha, the fourth urmi. The remedy is jnana. Okay, that's the fourth urmi. Now the fifth urmi is jara, Jara. That is old age, the aging process, that the inevitability of bodily decline. A child is born, it is going to go one day. Hopefully it reaches old age. Some people don't reach old age also, right? Obviously. But that bodily decline, jara is the aging of the body. And then the inevitability. Jara really means the inevitability of bodily decline. Nobody has been able to stop that bodily decline as such. Yeah, there are yogis who can extend their life. Those stories are there, whatever that might be. That's a different subject. But this is mrityu loka, according to the scriptures. Mrityu loka. Mrityu means everyone who has taken a body, that body is going to go. That is bodily decline. And because of jara, there is fear of dependency and decay. There's fear. My God, I don't want this to happen. We're trying to hold on. So the fear comes. We of course have to keep our body healthy as possible. But the fear inside, bhai, of decay, of decline, cognitive decline, physical decline, dependency on others because of the physical decline. This happens in old age. This fear is inside of jara. This is the fifth urmi. Okay, now, what is the Vedantic cure for this? It's the realization of the Atman. When the realization of the Atman allows the body to continue its journey and then fall away. Like a leaf that falls from the ripened leaf and then eventually a dead leaf. When the leaf is gone to a certain point, the greenery of the leaf is gone, the leaf naturally falls from the tree. Isn't it so? Similarly, this body will fall away. Try to visualize, see this point. Body will fall away when the time comes. It is ripened, the Atmagnan is ripened, the body will fall away. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about because that's not who you are. So the Vedanta teaches us that we are not this body. The bodily decline would be there. Yes. So the fear goes away. We do our duty. Society has systems to help elderly people. There are old homes and hospitals and aging facilities and all those things. People who are advanced age, they cannot even perform the activity of daily living at times. इसीलिए भगवान को प्रार्थना करना कि बहुत लंबा आयुष्य नहीं देना. Don't give us that kind of life. इसीलिए भक्ति करना. Maximum bhakti, all the karma, birma, सब कुछ खलास हो जाता है. When the time comes, we just go. We don't have to worry about this madness later on. But people have hard time dying also. Because attachments are so, entanglements, itna strong, they cannot let go of anything. Nothing is ours. So that becomes hard in the end of life. Well, what Bhagwan ki krupa hoti, if someone who is well matured spiritually, there's no more entanglement left, the body can go peacefully. But those who are hanging on, bank accounts and stock markets and people and places and possessions and small वस्तु में इतना आसक्ति हो गई, इतना entangled, कैसे मर भी नहीं सकते peacefully. ऐसी terrible situation है लाइफ में. इसीलिए गुणातीतानंद स्वामी जी कहते हैं કેટલીક कसर तो ज्ञान थी टल से, भक्ति थी टल से, वैराग्य थी टल से, કેટલીક कसर रोग थी टल से. What it means is that deficiency, while we're alive, remove all the deficiency. so that the end point is not troubling us. भगवान की दया से भगवान को यही प्रार्थना है that remove our deficiency, O Lord. And when the time comes, you take us and let this body be as it is. Let it go. Without lingering. There's people who linger for years. मर नहीं सकते, जी नहीं सकते, मर नहीं सकते. ऐसी सिचुएशन हो जाती है because of endless attachments. किसी के साथ बंधन नहीं रखना. You cannot die. That's the problem. You see? So ये सब terrible बात है. इसीलिए भगवान की जितनी भक्ति कर सके, don't waste time. भक्ति में डूब जाओ, जीवन मुक्त स्थिति में आ जाओ. भगवान की दया से भगवान के जो बड़े बड़े संतों है, और whatever the body is going to be, it will be. You don't have to worry. It will, but when the time comes, it will go in the natural way, rather than lingering because one is stuck inside this sansar. इसमें से ही भूत योनि मिलती है. Why ghost happens? Ghost is real, by the way. Huh? That's another subject altogether. 100% it is real. Ghost is what? It is vasana. The body is gone, but so much vasana is there, lingering, that some kind of an unusual kind of body is there. Then Shankar Bhagwan has to take care of that. He's in charge of all of these ghosts. Think about that. Ghost ki body milti hai. ये सब इससे stay away from all this thing. इसके लिए this is why भगवान की अचल भक्ति, निष्ठा, नमः शिवाय मंत्र करना, बहुत प्रार्थना करना. Don't get stuck anywhere in this संसार. Ghost की body मिलेगी. Watch out. भगवान कृष्ण भी कहते हैं on this point in the Gita. It is well documented. Every religious tradition believes in ghost. So ghost nahi banna, stay away from these entanglements. Kisi ki bhi, not with anybody. Particularly with place. People are so attached to their home, to their room, to this, to that. This small, this is my mine, I and mine. भगवान कहते आपको वहां रहना, आपको भूत बना देंगे. क्या terrible situation है सब जीव की. Think about this. This is all part of this Urmi phenomena. So nothing to worry about. When there is 100% love for Paramatma, किसी के साथ राग, द्वेष, अहम, ममत्व नहीं है. With the realization, functionally, Sachin has place to stay. Clothes are here. These things are there. Internally, हमारा स्वरूप आत्मा है. Atma is at the feet of Paramatma. And when the time comes to leave the body can go peacefully with no sense that anything is mine. Not one electron is ours. Not one atom is ours. Not one subatomic particle is ours. That is Vairagya. The peacefully body can go. Otherwise, ghost ka bahut problem hai. One of the most haunted places is Hawaii. A haunted place in this world. Another place in the haunted place is Savannah, Georgia. इसमें बहुत ghost का problem है वहाँ. There's a lot of reasons behind that. I don't want to go into that ghost story stuff. But ऐसे भी स्थान है where there are tremendous number of this kind of problems. Why there are so many mental health problems in Western countries particularly? Ghost का problem है. इसमें उनके पास ritual ही नहीं है, साधना ही नहीं है इसको निकालने के लिए. That's why in Sanatan Dharma we do Vedic mantras before going into a home. Before moving into a home. We do all kinds of Nitya Pujas and all this thing that is done in so many ways. It is done to remove these kinds of problems through the Veda mantras. Because the Vedic rishis knew about all of this. It's very interesting, right? We don't realize कि ये जो सनातन संस्कृति में क्या ताकत है. How advanced it really is. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And इसमें से कल्याण होता है, सबका कल्याण होता है. किसी के साथ बंधन नहीं होता, सबका कल्याण होता है. So it removes these kinds of disturbances. So Mahamrutyunjay mantra, very important. Mahamrutyunjay ka havan karna. If you don't know how to do it, you don't have to worry about it. Do Namah Shivaya. Diya karna. You don't want to do havan? It should be done on Mondays. थोड़ा एक small pick put a diya. So if there is any disturbance, it won't be anything, but who knows, right? You never know. It's like that. So भगवान की भक्ति में to go into that, and शिव जी की जो भक्ति है, it removes all this kind of chaos that surrounds. There are a lot of mental health problems. This is a hypothesis. We cannot really prove that. There might be some research on it. But इसमें से बहुत trouble है. इसीलिए there's all kinds of vidhi that is done after a person passes away. So the Jivatma can move on and not be stuck in the family somewhere. Not be lingering as a bhoot pret. You see? I don't want to scare anybody in that, but वो सत्य बात है. And it's extremely important that we can leave this sansar without getting stuck in that bhoot yoni. वो नहीं होगा भगवान की दया से. But one of those things, don't be stuck anywhere, particularly with money. किसी जो पैसा हमारा है, donate कर देना, give it to the children, give it to whoever, भगवान की सेवा मानना, and leave it alone. It's if somebody believes that this is mine, one can become straight away a ghost because of that. It's a very dangerous बात है ये. Vasanas, the sexual vasana, that's another reason why. बहुत ये सब वासना जो है, वासना का जो प्रॉब्लम है, that will lead to the ghost body. Okay, anyway, enough of that. But that is part of this urmi phenomena. So this old age, moha, shoka, all of these urmis, getting stuck in them will cause trouble later on. So we want out of all of this thing, right? So now, number 6, the 6th urmi is, of course, mrityu, exactly what we were talking about. That is a fear that all beings have, of what? Fear of death. The fear of death completely goes away in 10th bhakti and Jivan Mukti. Mrityu hai hi nahi, actually. Sharir is made out of these substances. It will peacefully go back into the nature. That's all. Alpa bhut isko kehte, Prithvi Jal Vayu Tej Akash. It will go into the Mahabhut. Mahabhut, Prithvi Jal Vayu Tej Akash, the 5 bhutas. Bhut doesn't mean here ghost, it means the tattvas. This body is made out of that, out of food and out of air, and it'll just go back into that. It's already in that. So there's no death for the Atma. The Atma tattva वो चैतन्य तत्व है, दिव्य तत्व है. इसके साथ क्या death का प्रश्न है? None at all. So the fear, the greatest fear within every being is this fear of death, and that is what is called jijivisha. Jijivisha is like, I want to live. Okay, wanting to live is fine, but keeping that in the mind as if we're going to live forever, no, that is ajnan. You see, that is ignorance. So death in Vedantic viewpoint, it's a transformation from one state to another. It is not an end. And realization of the immortal self. The realization, मेरा स्वरूप क्या है? मैं कौन हूँ? मैं दिव्य हूँ, मैं आत्मा हूँ, मैं चैतन्य हूँ, मैं भगवान का भक्त हूँ, भगवान के साथ लगनी है. So this is the inner transformative journey out of the 6 urmis. These are all words to keep in mind for all of you taking notes, and it's really such a blessing for me, for Sachin here, to do this. Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be scared of. Bhai chhod do. If you go to any temple, Hindu mandir, Bhagwan ka jo ashirwad hai, always his right hand is up like this. But this is called Abhay Mudra. Abhay. Don't be afraid. You come, Paramatma ki sharan mein hum aa gaye. Don't be afraid. Ye jo mala hai, continue naam jap. Continue the mantra sadhana with lot of love, lot of feeling, with vairagya and jnana, with bhakti and sharanagati. Fantastic. These 6 urmis won't bother us at all. Bodily functions continue. Our duties continue. With love and affection, everything continues. But in this 6 urmis, we are not tortured by this. Most of humanity is tormented and crushed by these 6 urmis. Shadurmi. इसको कहते हैं Shadurmi. Very interesting. Powerful stuff. Powerful. You see? How to go beyond the 3 urmis? Of course. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Raja Yoga. These are the paths. What is Jnana Yoga? 3 points. that viveka between what is real and unreal. Sharir jo hai, it is temporarily real. It's not really me. When I look at this form right now, Sachin looks, that form is different from the way it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That's not who I am. That's just a form. It's an image. Mera swarup alag hai. That's what Vedanta teaches us. And that viveka opens up through jnana, through jnana, bhakti, vichar, shakti. That viveka comes and we sit in Jnana mudra, we sit in dhyan, soham, soham, shivoham, shivoham, namah shivaya, etc. These Vedantic mantras are done. So the buddhi becomes enlivened with that separation between what is real, what is unreal, what is temporary, what is permanent. That separation comes, one lives in a liberated state. That happens through self-inquiry. Ramana Maharishi ka ye path tha. Atma vichar. Ramana Maharishi, J. Krishnamurti, all these, this is called the path of the Atma Vichar. And what is the goal? It's the realization of who you are, Brahman. This ko Jnana Yoga kehte, in short. The path of bhakti, the path of surrender, devotion, total surrender of the ahankar at the feet of God. How beautiful. Our focus should be on these things, not on those 6 urmis. Don't worry about those 6 urmis. You don't have to even think about that. You just do the normal activity as karma yoga. Don't worry about that. Don't analyze it too much. It's not necessary. Stay with these things instead. About the different yogic paths. Surrender, sharanagati. Taking the shelter. Surrendering to God. Bhakti dissolves. It absolutely obliterates fear and grief. 2 extremely good benefits right in our living modality for all of us. Bhai. हमारे अंतःकरण में कितना भय है. What will happen? This will happen. That will happen. Animals live in fear. People live in fear. Abhayam sattva sanshuddhihi. Fear goes away. When real bhakti opens up, particularly when we approach Atma Nivedanam and when we approach the 10th bhakti, fear gets obliterated from our mind, from our system. Fear gets obliterated. Bhaya. And grief. This is gone. This is gone. This problem is there. This people are being killed. This war. We're so hurt inside because of personal reasons, family reasons, societal reasons, national reasons, international reasons, jo bhi hai, from global to local. So much hurt is there. Does it mean we're not to have love? Of course we have love. Love and sensitivity is there, but this grief is damaging the individual. It doesn't help anybody. And to cause grief to others, that has to stop. And to stop the grief for oneself also. Bhakti stops it. It's love. Love for God, which then that same Paramatma is existing everywhere. That is love for all. So bhakti dissolves fear and grief. And again, the way the great Santa Parampara in Sanatan Dharma, we have the most extraordinary Santa Parampara. Even today, there are so many great saints. How they have lived, how they live, their personality, their demeanor, their interactions. How wonderful, how beautiful. So many stories are there, so many teachings are there. Our mind is then infused with this. This is Bhakti Yoga. And of course, there is Dhyan Yoga. What is Dhyan Yoga? That is stillness. Shanti. Man ko shant bana dena. Dhyan dwara. Meditation. That is called Dhyan Yoga. Stillness is a state where there is mastery over all 6 urmis, 6 waves. That is through the path of... Actually, all the yogas lead to the same point. That is Atma Gnan, Brahma Gnan, and Bhagwan ka darshan. It leads to the same point. But starting points are a bit different, that's all. So this is the path of stillness, dhyan. Lots of ways of doing dhyan. One of the most straightforward ways is mantra dhyan. We start chanting mantras regularly. What does it do to our mind? Makes it calmer. If Sachin, let's say, starts with Namah Shivaya mantra, 1 mala, increase to 3 malas, increase to 5, increase to 7, increase to 9, increase to 15, increase to 21, and then keep going up, hold at a certain point, keep it up. By regular sadhana, mind will become, meaning the TEMDE, thought, emotion, memory, desire, energy, becomes still, pure, harmonized. This is called Dhyan Yoga. Very beautiful, very nice, excellent. So silence comes about. Shant. Om Shanti Shanti. Shanti ka anubhav. So that great stillness is beautiful. So that in that stillness, there is harmony. There is still activity of life. Then life is lived through that stillness. So we may have met people, maybe we also have some of these qualities. We're very still, very shant. Sometimes we see somebody with, we're sitting with someone, person is very still, very calm, very peaceful. We want to sit with such a person. We want to be in the company of such a person because unka man pavitra ban gaya hai. Unka जीवन पवित्र है, उनका मन शांत है, उनके दर्शन से शांति मिलती है. ठीक है? These are the indicators of evolution, spiritual evolution. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So in summary, just a few points here. Urmis are there, urmi hai, but to rise above them. Experiences of life continue. There's no need to analyze those urmis in too much detail. They are what they are. But continue to develop further. Understand how understanding, meaning jnana, wisdom, knowledge, awareness, bhakti, etc. Impacts the urmis. The urmis reshape. It's a reshaping. And that reshaping of the urmis is going into the Jivan Mukta state. Yes. Freedom from compulsions and obsessions, fears and entanglements. I use the word attachment is okay, but entanglement is a better word. Freedom from all these things. इसमें से मुक्त हो जाते हैं. So again, keeping in mind, when the time comes to leave the body, one is ready to, कोई बात नहीं, तैयारी हो गई है जाने के लिए भगवत धाम में. अर्ची मार्ग, गरुड़ प्रथम 21. Amazing. You hear these references, by the way. Garuda is a village. It's a town now where Bhagwan Swaminarayan sat there and gave Updesha. So those references, I'm just giving some of them from time to time. That's what that is. Maharaj ke sab references hai wahan. Adbhut baat hai. This is a doorway, right? This body is a doorway into the supreme reality. It is a mechanism. It is a gift given to go into the highest of realization through knowing how to utilize this body, mind, senses, etc. Right? So that technology is what we're talking about every single day. And it's there. All the information is available. Information is available. Is it internalized? How much of it is really internalized? और जीवन कितना सुंदर बन जाता है. All the relationships become beautiful because all the fear goes away. Wanting something and grabbing something from someone and irsha and jealousy and ये सब कितना चलता है. Even in family life it goes on. All that stops. Yeah, practically you have to deal with wills and all, whatever it is, deal with it. People fight over that, how much money they got from somebody passed away. That should not happen. Get it all set up properly with love and affection. And aage badho. Otherwise there's a lot of trouble. Just because a person physically is dead doesn't mean the trouble has ended. The trouble may have just begun because of that. One has to be very, very careful. You see, so बहुत इस पर ध्यान रखना चाहिए. In summary, we can say this entire life that we have, it is to prepare for that end point of leaving the body. That's all it's about. Actually, it's only about that. in the bigger sense, from the point of view of the Atma. Why this life is here. People say, why am I here? We are here to prepare for that end point. And then to decide, and then to see where we're going to go after, where the Atma is going to go from here. The experience it will have. What is the next evolution? That's it. That's all it is. It's very simple. There's nothing really complicated about it. It's very easy to understand. This amount of time remaining for this Sachin here, this body. Who knows that? God knows that. Paramatma. That's it. Nobody else knows how much time is remaining. But the time that is remaining, is it being spent in such a way where there is living liberation? I have to ask myself. Every day I have to ask myself this question, and then try to live in that state. Do the sadhanas, do the bhajan bhakti, everything that is needed. So there's preparation. When the time comes to leave the body, everything else has been taken care of. It's called Purna Kam Bha. Purna Kam is a Gujarati word. It just means total satisfaction. Pura ho gaya. Family life, fantastic. Bhog liya. Sab bhog, trips, खाने पीने की सब वस्तु, whatever, sansar bhog, whatever is available, fine. Be satisfied with it. Leave it alone. Don't keep running. Kitna, how much running? So leave it alone. Doesn't mean we don't go places. Go everywhere. It's okay. Leave it alone. Antakaran में बहुत स्थिरता. See several points. Antakaran की स्थिरता. The steadiness of the antakaran. Antakaran की पवित्रता. The purified mind. Antakaran की एकाग्रता. The oneness with which the antakaran is flowing, the life is flowing. And the art and science of constant freedom. That is Jivan Mukti. And the art and science of moving into Prema Bhakti. There's nothing, that is where life blossoms to its highest level. Yeah, are we going to go, is this body going to go one day? Yeah, but that's not that important. What is actually really important is how we live here as a Jivan Mukta, as a liberated being. Then life is to be embraced in its totality. This is what J. Krishnamurti called the vitality of death. What an expression. Absolutely beautiful. It's vitality. Living fully each day as a mukta, as a liberated being, as a free being, as a person who is brimming with love and forgiveness and wishing well for all. Seeing everyone progress. That is living liberation. Not harboring negative thoughts towards others. Not harboring entanglements towards others. No. You want to get entangled? Sachin wants to get entangled? Bhagwan Krishna ke saath entangle ho jana. Gita ke saath entangle ho jana. Vachanamrut ke saath mix ho jana, entangle. Yeah, we can get entangled. Bhagwan के शास्त्र, भगवान के भक्त, भगवान के संत, उनके साथ. That is freedom. Otherwise, one can be rolling around in the Janam Maran Chakkar. It is nearly 9 o'clock now. I want to offer my respects to all of you online, to Bhagwan, Paramatma, wo to ek hi tattva hai, residing in the heart of every single being, and with lots of prayers to Shri Radhika ji, lots of प्रार्थना उनके चरणों में कि वो उनकी कृपा से, कृपा कटाक्ष से हमारे जीवन में भक्ति आ जाए, प्रेम भक्ति आ जाए. भगवान शंकराचार्य जी और सब वेदांत के जो बड़े बड़े संत परंपरा हो गए, उनके चरणों में भी प्रार्थना है वो कृपा करे, कृपा कटाक्ष जिसमें से ज्ञान की वृद्धि हो जाए और जीवन मुक्त की स्थिति. जीवन मुक्त एंड दी प्रेम भक्ति, they combine together. And that is the culmination of life. वो प्रार्थना है भगवान के चरणों में. Let's do the closing mantra. And then if there's any comments, then we can have that small discussion. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्ष्यमामृतात्। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ श्री दुर्गार्पणमस्तु। ॐ श्री राधाकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। ॐ ह्रीं स्वाहा।